Oh, now I got a tweet. Dip slightly. Pepperoni pizza was invented. Okay. Let's do that. Tweet everything out. Oh. Because in our game hour, probably usual students, exclude people like me. Let's go for 5. Yeah. All right. So I just feel a little off because I decided to go out, get some quick groceries from Target, and then I actually wound up overexerting myself, so I wound up getting, bordering on, I think, heat exhaustion. So I was getting like a little bit dizzy before I realized, hey, I'm pushing it too much. So yeah, turns out just getting older and heat and lifting heavy shit is not a good combination. Well, strange, as soon as I managed to get inside the apartment building where it was a lot cooler, all of a sudden I just felt like instantly so much better. It was like, yeah, is heat really that bad for me? Yeah. So anyway, I also happen to do it while I'm trying to lose a lot of weight by not eating a lot. So yeah, but next time I'll just bring the stupid push trolley cart thing. I forgot what I called it, but basically it's those things that old Chinese people like push around. So that way I won't have to, you know, lift heavily. Yeah. So, but yeah. Let's see. I gotta change the YouTube title because this is actually gonna be a pretty important stream. Because now that I know about the power of stock to flow, let me see. Cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin bounce back big time as I change mind on stock to flow analysis. Okay, very good. Oh, so I'm still feeling a little off. I want to make sure that I'm eating. But then like I ate, took a nap. Now I still have to let my body digest, so I don't wind up vomiting. All right, so everything's tweeted out. We're still waiting on Greg. All right, so for whatever reason, there's still some fear in the market, or maybe it's the Federal Reserve buying up all these bonds. Trump Bible photo op, not the reason cops finally cleared protests outside the White House, Feds claim. Does anyone even care anymore? So medium to long-term debt went down. The yields went down. That's very, very good. And it's not going in a crazy way, so it works for me. Equity markets, of course, have come down. Let me refresh this. But not really much. It's like a little bit here. Silver did all right. Crude oil is also dipping, but that's because it went up. It went straight up. So obviously it's in the go up a lot, go back down a lot phase, but to the upside. So that's very good for us. And of course, the big kahuna himself, Bitcoin crypto is doing well. And of course, Riot Blockchain, I should have wrote this in the tweet, but Riot Blockchain, thank God, is actually freaking doing something. So I'll be able to get back all my money at the rate this is going. Bank of America's dipping because the markets are still dipping. And ExxonMobil's doing pretty well. Yeah, went up 52 cents, as high as like a $1.40, but you know what? As long as ExxonMobil goes up and crude oil goes back to going up again towards $100 a barrel, I don't care. I'm gonna get my money back. And once Riot and Bitcoin skyrocket again, as we'll soon see, as I think I might have calculated, it should be around 100 grand to 125 grand. At least the stock to flow that actually gives me let me see, is this good enough? Yeah. At least the stock to flow analysis will give us some more guidelines. And we can combine that with Greg's technical trading thing, all right, where we could see, well, I'm already jumping ahead, but if we look at Bitcoin Tether here, we could see that the RSI for it is like negative 4,000. So this is the perfect time for the bounce back. Look at these red candles and this nice, beautiful green candle. So, you know, I mean, it could still technically crash, but there's so much overselling pressure that I just don't think that's possible. So, well, I shouldn't say possible. It's improbable. So, you know, but you know what? I'm just happy with what we got. So let's see. So I covered that. I want to get into crypto real quick. I assume Greg's going to be having his video out any day now. 3 hours ago. Yeah, I think this is just now. Yeah, so Greg already has the video out.
Okay, everybody, it's me. Okay, everybody.
All right, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Okay, I don't know why this thing's not working. But you know what? I'm glad, because we're making money. I'm making my money back. You know, haters and doubters are getting wrecked. And I just say, and then yeah, Nick Fuentes has been criticizing Trump a lot too. So at this point, we're way past Trump now. That's why you'll notice I'm being a lot more aggressive in my anti-boomer talk. Because at this point, I just can't deal with it. So so the boomers continue dying off, and then we also cut off the money flow to tribal first through cryptocurrencies, because that's what South America is doing right now, along with Mexico. Everything will actually fix itself. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. I am extremely happy about that. So yeah, so tribe first will eventually just not be a power, and then probably at that point we could probably start like, you know, regulating their fucking influence so they can never hurt us like this ever again. Are you gonna show us how to straddle? Not yet, but I'm just like exhausted. Like my forearms are still feeling a little numb from being outside. I don't actually know why. So I might be like suffering a little bit from the effects of like dehydration and heat exhaustion. So I'm trying to drink a lot of water, have the AC on. But don't worry, I will make sure that, you know, I'll have the straddle video up and running before, you know, this thing gets popping off. I mean, definitely by the time that Bitcoin hits 64K, you know, because it's not going to go from 64K to 100 grand or 125 grand within like well, maybe within a week, but certainly not within a couple of days. So just make sure you start funding your stock market account, you fund your Ledger X account, and then, you know, that's that. Because obviously you're going to be doing options. Because straddles are useful for options. Had I done that on my Riot blockchain plays, I would be sitting extremely pretty right now, right? Because I would have bought at like $21 when Riot was at the bottom, and now it's already up to 31 bucks. That literally is like tens of thousands of dollars printed right there per option at extremely low risk. So, but this is basically the idea. I'll just give you a quick primer. So obviously you want something like January 20th, 2023, right? I'm going to use Riot blockchain as an example. So right now the price of Riot is 31.41, right? So what we want to do is buy a call option. Here in this case it would be $32 because that's like the closest thing. You could also go down to like 30. Actually, I would probably go with 30. Oh wow, actually, yeah, some of these option prices, strike prices, are all not that much different. Okay, so I'll probably go down to $25 here, right? So I'll have to pay $1,800 per call option for a 2-year option on Riot blockchain at a $25 strike. So that's the call option. Now, the next thing you do to create the straddle is you buy this call option, then at the same time you buy a put option at the exact same price of $25. So puts make money when the stock goes down and calls make money when the stock goes up. So that's called a straddle. So what happens is technically you're going to make a neutral amount of money mathematically. However, that's really not the case because you're obviously expecting the in this case, Riot blockchain, because Bitcoin is volatile, to go up and down like crazy. And that's where you make your profits. So thanks to Greg's technical analysis chart, plus the stock to flow shit that we're going to go over, whatchamacallit, we know how many calls we need to buy, most likely, and how many puts we need to buy. Or maybe we don't want to do that at all. Like in the case of Riot, like had I been buying the dip, I would not be buying a put option because it's already at the bottom. So I only want calls. And then when this next leg up of Bitcoin starts going up, right, I'm going to buy another call probably at 100 grand for Bitcoin. So whatever the price of Riot's going to be. And I'm probably going to buy like maybe 2, maybe even 3 put options so that when the pullback happens in crypto, you know, Riot's going to crash, and then that's how you make your money. You close your put options to take profit, and then you buy another straddle, or you could just simply buy more calls. But in that case, I'll probably do a straddle because maybe the correction might last a little longer, right? Because that's what happened pretty much early this year. It went up, and then it kept going down more, then up a little more, and then crashed even more. So, you know, but at least with straddles, you'll be able to take advantage of ups and downs because you know that crypto ain't going to be flat. So that's basically the gist of it. But I'll make sure I'll draw it out again next time. Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, the dollar is up a little bit, which kind of sucks, but yeah, its time is almost done anyway. That's probably why the Fed's actually printing the dollar so much, because it still actually remains pretty strong despite all the inflationary pressure. So, massive incentive to just keep printing more money because you're literally printing free money. So, this is the site, stats. So, you just write stock to flow on Google, right? This is the site I'm using. So, basically, this blue line is the actual, like, they have like this kind of weird formula, but it's down here in this description. But basically, what happens is you take the current amount of like production of Bitcoins in a day and divide by the total amount outstanding or something like that, right? And then you get this blue line called the stock to flow. So basically this is the actual real price of Bitcoin, what it should intrinsically be worth. And then these colored dots is the actual price of Bitcoin for that day. So basically you can figure out that if Bitcoin goes beyond the blue line, in this case of way above, then you know that you should probably start buying puts or start selling and taking profit. Likewise, when the bottom shit, when Bitcoin goes below the blue line, you know that the bottom's coming in, right? Now we have multiple tools to figure out what to do, thanks to all my experience. All right, we have Greg's analytics, so we know what the RSI is, and we can check Twitter, right, and look at the sentiment of like normal people just bitching and complaining, right? The more negative sentiment there is, the more likely there is a bottom. The lower the RSI, the more likely there is a bottom. And of course, now we have this tool, and we can see that Bitcoin is way below the stock to flow thing here. Can you guys see this? Yeah. You'll have to maybe zoom in a bit, but this basically has worked. All right, can I zoom? Let's zoom in here. There we go. Now you guys can see it a little better. So basically, you can see right here, all right, the blue line, it says Bitcoin should be 64,536, right? Because that's the amount, because you can only make like, what is it, 900 Bitcoins a day or 1,800? I already forgot. I haven't mined Bitcoin in like ages, right? But basically, you take that number and you divide by the amount of real Bitcoin that's out there right now. And obviously, it's crypto, so we know they can't forge it, right? You can't play your tribal first little central banking tricks on it and just make numbers up. So that's why this thing is solid. Now look at the actual price of Bitcoin on this point, all right? 33,409. This thing is undervalued by 50%. And then you can also see that when Bitcoin went beyond the blue line, yeah, the price of Bitcoin kept snapping backwards. So this is just like a fantastic tool. Like I used to always shit on this and technical analysis because it was always wrong. But now I know better. So this is going to be very useful for picking ups and downs. And look at this. Look at this stretch of time, which is, oh, great. Yeah, the crypto winter of 2019. Look how badly it was. Like, people were so negative on Bitcoin for a long time. And you could easily tell this was the best time to buy crypto. Now you still have to wait because eventually Bitcoin does come back. So here's another thing. You see these dots are also colored. What that means is the closer it gets to the blue color, the closer we are to a Bitcoin halving. Because when Bitcoin halves, that's when Bitcoin starts moving up like crazy. And it's worked every single cycle. But we look back here, right? Every time there was a halving, it was always succeeded by, and this is something that everyone generally understands. This has always been succeeded by massive price increases in Bitcoin. This is going back as far as basically 2010, right? So here's the 2012 bull run, right, into 2013. Kept going up and up and up, and then back down to crypto winter. Then eventually we got another Bitcoin halving, sometime around like June 7th, 2016. Right? Then that created the 2017 Bitcoin bull run, right? That's where I made my fortune. That's why we're here today. And now we fast forward today, and this is where we're at. We already had the blue line back in mid 2020, but there's always a lag point. So now all that's left is for this massive jump upwards, the final leg of the bull run. So, I mean, it kind of went really fast, but basically you could just tell, all you have to just know is when is Bitcoin going to halve, and is Bitcoin prices above or below the blue line? That's really all you have to know. And then you can figure shit out from there. And of course, we're going to be using this shit every single day, so I got you covered. But yeah, this thing is so massively underpriced. All right, so this is going to be good. Let me see. Wait. Wait. Did I say? Okay, so the one that then I had decided to go out to Target. So the one that I wanted to check was where is the actual next price point? Okay. So here's 2021. I'm gonna go like this. All right. So I'm thinking there's gonna be a Bitcoin rally. Right up until July 4th, because that's a holiday. So, and remember, what do I always say about holidays? Bitcoin always dumps during holidays. So July 4th is on a Sunday this year. So we may not we might have a little dip by say July 2nd. Because most people are going to take half work days off on the Friday before July 4th, which is July 2nd. So that gives us 3 full weeks of a Bitcoin bull run. I think it could be possible. Bitcoin could, like, that would be the best ideal scenario. Bitcoin just simply rampages all the way up to like 100 grand, 125 grand, and then it dips during the July 4th weekend. Then it takes a couple of weeks during July to recover, and then say middle to third week of July, all the way to Labor Day. That's like 5-6 weeks of Bitcoin just going straight up to a new leg. And then it'll go to like 250K, 300K. Before it pulls back a lot during Labor Day weekend, and then we get the final leg up to like, you know, wherever Bitcoin wants to go, which will probably be 1 to 3 million, but probably more likely 1 to 1.5 million. And then, you know, you and I will just be like multi-millionaires, right? In fact, I might actually become a decamillionaire if we play it correctly. So, all right, so on July 1st, 2021, the stock to flow of Bitcoin is going to be around $73,100. Now, because July 4th is on a Sunday, the weekend may not be so bad. But I don't feel comfortable holding positions then. I mean, we're just gonna have to see what Bitcoin does. If it's going up and down, steadily up until July 4th, I might decide to just hold on, right? And then just simply take it up the ass, which I really don't want to. Also, if you look at these dots, like, this is gonna be a pretty steep climb between now and July 1st. So let me just look at where my mouse is, this white cross. But we'll have to see. I mean, Bitcoin does move, you know, Bitcoin can easily move 10, 20, 30% within like 12 to 24 hours, no problem. So, but yeah, let's see. And then you'll see that once we reach sometime around September, stock to flow shows of 103,000. Bitcoin's at 103,000 per Bitcoin, which is kind of insane. But again, I find it kind of interesting. Right? Look at the year 20. Can you see this? Yeah, 2022, 23, and 24. Right? The stock to flow of Bitcoin is going to be really flat. So that really means that Bitcoin is going to actually be pretty stable, or just keep going down to its real value, which should be around 100K. So if that's really the case, then Bitcoin should be crashing to no more than 30 grand to 50 grand. And at that point, it'll just be literally free cryptocurrency. Also, we'll have to see what the effect of Latin America, Mexico, and other countries like adopting Bitcoin. Because everyone's figuring out that the US dollar and the Federal Reserve and Tribal First is just a massive scam. I gotta be careful because Nick Fuentes is about to get banned and I need to be careful too. So, the whole world's figured out this scam. Right? Even though I don't like precious metals, even gold and silver would actually be a better bet than holding the stupid idiot dollar. Right? And I'll still have dollars through stable coins because I want that high interest rate. Right? Because you can get around a weaker dollar if you have an extremely high interest rate. And you can achieve that through DeFi. And now that Amazon's getting into DeFi head first, right? Like our entire economic system is going to change, and for the better. And hopefully we can be rid of ourselves of Tribal First once and for all. Right? And they'll probably be, and then of course, and then I actually think that's probably why we're seeing the acceleration of everything, because Tribal First knows that their time's coming up. All right, so I hope so. Because they know if they don't put a stop to whatever's going on, then it's over, right? It's over. I mean, just look what happened with the Palestine situation, right? Pretty much everyone correctly figured out, hey, Israel is committing war crimes. What's going on? And they had the Tribal First pieces of shit from both the Democrats and Republicans just racing to just, somehow blame the Palestinians for everything. Even though they're actually the victims. And the whole world was like, what the fuck? So, whatchamacallit. So, yeah, there's actually limits to what, these bad, evil people can start doing. And that's a good thing. And hopefully that means we can finally get our country back. Alright. Actually, I'm also trying to pick up loot and Eidolon, so... Anyway, let's see. So I think that goes over just about everything. Now I'm actually feeling a little better physically, so... But damn, I hate the idea of getting old now, because, I can't believe I actually almost had, fainted from heat exhaustion. And I even noticed I was getting dehydrated, too, because I was sweating like crazy, and then I stopped sweating. And then I noticed I was starting to get more dizzy. And now I understand why, because my body was trying to react, was like, we really need water, we have to stop sweating. And that's probably bad for my body, too, because my body's overheating. Really, really bad.
It's me, Gregory Manarino. It is still Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. And let me just forewarn you, I may lose it on this video. Really, I might lose it. Let's start off with the market, see if I can compose myself a little bit here before I go on, because some of this stuff we found out today is just, it's too much, and it's just part of the freak show. So anyway, with regard to this market, slight losses for the major indices. Now, this was pretty easy to see just by gauging a few.
In the future, there are newfound. Well, I've been thinking of setting up a Bitcoin mining company. Yeah, I kind of want to do that too, just for the hell of it. Especially now that Biden and Congress set up a new tech bailout. What the bailout actually did was set up new semiconductor chip processing plants. They cost $15 to $20 billion to create a good one. So with more chips being made, but those are the same chips presumably used in computers, graphics cards, and of course Bitcoin miners. So hopefully, because what's happened? Because I actually watched that Bloomberg video about the chip crisis, so-called chip crisis. Well, it sounds like what happened was there was just too much demand for chips this whole time, and now it's even surging even more. And then TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Company, can't keep up with the orders. Also, that's actually the reason why the United States is also stationed in Taiwan. So, because we want those fucking chips. So does China. So it actually makes a lot of sense. But I guess you're not supposed to know that, which is hilarious. Um, but yeah, it might. But I mean, with that being said, there are actually easier and better ways to make money. So I don't know. But I still like the idea of mining, right? Because it's like being a gold miner too. We never sell Bitcoin, just do the DeFi staking. I mean, that could work. In my case, I'm gonna still trade the ups and downs of Bitcoin, right? Because the U.S. dollar will still be a force to be reckoned with. It'll just be greatly reduced, right? And eventually, everyone's gonna call out the Federal Reserve for being the tribal scam that they really are. You know, so
Few factors. 10-year yield slightly lower. What does that tell us? Cash is making its way into the debt market. There's a little fear. Market is smelling something.
yeah, a lot of
Dollar, I
fear.
mean, slightly higher today. Again, all right. So there's the setup. Crude oil fell below $70 a barrel, just slightly. So it throughout the day, it turned into not being so great, despite the fact that Congress, our representatives, they represent the American people, don't they? Are voting to bail out, yet again, the tech sector. I spoke about this morning to the tune of 250 billion. Are you for it? You want to bail out the tech sector? Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Because if you said yes, I have to share a little bit of information with you, but we'll get there in a moment. So again, nothing. It was a 0 day for the market, pretty much, the stock market. Silver put on a decent gain. Gold had a fractional loss. Okay, whatever. These are the assets to be in. Physical gold, physical silver, it doesn't matter what they do. Cryptocurrencies today are catching a bid. I still say they're consolidating. We will see how this plays out moving forward. I am a long-term holder of these things, just like gold and silver. I am a long-term holder of these things. You all know that, but no matter how many times I say it, I get bombarded with questions and comments and this and that. So I'll just have to keep repeating myself, I guess, here. Now let's move forward here. I want you to understand a few things. So it's astonishing to me. Actually, no, it isn't. But if anyone is buying this narrative, you're an imbecile. This is what's going on right now. So again, the tech sector is getting a bailout to the tune of $250 billion. I didn't vote for it. Okay, I don't think you voted for it either. Now, this is being sold to the American people like this. We need to bail out the tech sector so we can compete with, one guess, compete with China. Exactly. The same kind of twist or narrative we got when members of Congress are calling for the digital dollar. We need a digital dollar. The Fed needs to issue a digital dollar, according to Congress, certain members of Congress, so we can compete with China. So that's how they're selling the bailout to the American people. But what you're
Basically
not
what it is.
supposed to know, and look this up for yourself if you do not believe me, these tech companies, as a matter of fact,
Yeah, they're so
corporate America today, including
riches.
these tech corporations, are awash with cash. They have so much cash already that they do not know what to do with it. And it gets even better than that. Again, they have so much cash, they don't know what to do with it. But they're getting a bailout from Congress, the American people. You're doing it. You're not supposed to know that, but you are bailing out the tech sector. Okay, lovely, despite the fact that they're awash with cash beyond their eyeballs. The banks, if the banks don't even want their cash. The banks themselves are so awash with cash right now. They don't
Really?
want the money. This is how out of control this is. And this is what I've been
How
explaining
does
to
that
you
even happen?
forever. Corporate America, as strong as it's ever been. The stock market, very close to all-time record highs. So do you believe that Congress should be bailing out the tech sector here? Explain it to me if you do. If you believe that Congress, the representatives of the American people, should be giving the tech sector a bailout. Well, why? When they're awash with cash, so much so, they don't know what to do with it. This is the freak show, people, and this is why I told you I was going to freak out. Honestly, it drives me out of my mind when I look at this stuff, when I hear about it. And we got some economic news today. We found out that today inflation is at a 13-year high. Okay, that's not really the issue. The issue is we've gotten here at the fastest pace on record. Inflation is rising at the fastest pace ever. And let me explain this to you, in case you don't know about it, because I think you do if you follow this blog. The Federal Reserve, who is responsible for this, has no intention whatsoever of turning off their inflation creation machine. I mean, it's a deliberate act. Yeah. Let's talk about it for the gazillionth time.
Yeah, which means crypto and precious metals and like just non-dollar stuff is going to go crazy high. All right. You know, we're going to become Zimbabwe billionaires at the rate things are going.
They're issuing debt through one door. They're buying it through another door. You understand? It's massively inflationary. So let me ask you, maybe if you feel like, calling one of your representatives from Congress, ask them why they feel they should be bailing out the tech sector. They're awash with cash, stock market near all-time record highs, but they're not worried about maybe helping you out by telling the Federal Reserve or asking the Fed why they keep running their inflation creation machine deliberately. You understand? And again, in an environment where inflation is rising at its fastest pace ever. Duh! I need to regroup. Does any of this make sense to you? What do you see? Why do you believe the current environment is what it is? I mean, in your wildest dreams, sincerely, do you believe that, well, first of all, are you for bailouts or are you against bailouts just, generally? And do you believe that companies should get bailed out when they're awash with cash already? Explain that to me if you think that's the case, because I am not at all for bailouts in this environment, or more than likely most other. I can't say any, but in most situations here, I would be against bailouts. But with the current situation, I mean, you got to be nuts. You got to realize there's something else going on here. I've explained to all of you that you're going to see things and hear things you can't believe as a mechanism to allow the Federal Reserve to get stronger. Where's this cash coming from? This $250 billion bailout. Where? We don't have it. It's coming from the Fed. And the Fed is more than happy to supply the cash. You understand? I really hope that you are paying attention to what's going on around you. And I really don't know why. I think, no, let's scratch that. I do know why. No Federal Reserve president or the Federal Reserve chairperson himself is not being dragged before Congress asking why they are running their inflation creation machine in an environment where inflation is rising at its fastest pace on record. Why do you think that is? Do you feel, as a citizen of whatever country you live in, let's just stick to the United States because that's where I am here. Do you feel that you are represented, can't even talk, getting all worked up here, in Congress? Do you believe you have a voice, or do you believe you are dog shit? You see, no taxation without representation. Why are we paying taxes? We have no representation whatsoever. Okay? The Federal Reserve is the government, and all we have is these pieces of flecks of dog shit sitting in chairs with lofty titles, senators and congressmen and blah, 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 who do nothing for us. Okay? Oh, but they're all for the corporations. I told you, this merger here between corporations and this new American philosophy, people. I told you it was coming from a long time ago. It's here now. What did you do about it? I hope at least you have shared my videos. You've gotten this stuff out there and you're talking about it. Know what you see? With the narrative being sold to the American people that this bailout or any bailout is needed because we have to compete with China. We need a digital dollar because we got to compete with China. People are going to buy it. That's how dumbed down people have become. They don't know what to do, why they're doing whatever they are doing. They just walk through time and space like zombies because they are zombies. They've been zombified to the highest order. You understand? Anyway, I really, really do want to hear from you. I want to hear, number one, if you're for or against bailouts. Number two, are you for or against this particular bailout, $250 billion for the tech sector? Meanwhile, they are awash with cash, so much so
Believe it or not, it's actually good for us, for the NASDAQ and cryptocurrencies. Because again, we actually need more mining machines. So this tech bailout is actually really nice for us.
don't know what to do with it. And the banks don't want it. It's an insane situation, people, really. Look, I'm going to cut this video short because I really feel like I'm going to blow my stock off. Because
I don't understand how a bank would not want your money.
Handle it. All right, look, I'm out of here. I really am. And I will see all of you. I'll see all of you in the morning. I will read the comments.
It's kind of weird, actually. Alright. So I need to stuff my face so I can keep recovering my energy. But also, I really need to go to the bathroom, too. So the good news is, I think the worst of crypto is over. Right? So we should be on our way back. And thankfully, my prediction for this week still will hold true. So it's nice. My predictions continue to be true, but we still have tomorrow. Well, I have tonight, tomorrow, and Friday. So if Bitcoin can just make a modest gain to say 40 grand or ideally 42,000, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be. It's going to be all hell breaks loose, and then it'll be the weekend, and it's even possible that Bitcoin will continue to rampage upwards during the weekend, which is an extremely, extremely bullish sign. Now, of course, we know that if it goes up a lot, it has to come down a lot. So I'm kind of hoping that Bitcoin can reach 100 grand, 125 grand right in time for July 4th. Because that'll just make things a lot easier. Excuse me. Or maybe Bitcoin will just go up to 64,000 and then dip during July 4th, and then it'll continue its way up to like 100 grand or 150K, which I'm not gonna like because that's gonna be like the middle of July, right? And like everything's gonna, and then the prices are just gonna be kind of just distorted, so it'll just make it a lot harder to figure anything out. But again, we'll see. Bitcoin is very, very powerful. It can go down a ton and then can go up a ton. So it's already gone down a ton, so now it's time for it to just fly off the nest and all that good stuff. Just go skyrocket. So we'll see. But tonight should be good, and tomorrow should be fine, right? So, yeah. So I'm going to go. I'm going to explain briefly straddles. I'll make sure I'll do the video on it when I get the chance. Because we're not going to be doing straddles until Bitcoin hits like 100 grand, 125 grand. It's possible I might do a straddle on 64K. Especially if the timing is right before July 4th. But honestly, Bitcoin's been beaten so badly that even if it goes from 64K to 40 grand, that's really not a lot of profit. It'll make me feel better though, but yeah, it's not really much. So, alright, I'll see everyone tomorrow. I need to keep recovering and resting. And why is... I'm just curious to look for anything that mentions Bitcoin here. I can't read any of this shit, though. And obviously, as I tweeted out before, I set my Google or Twitter trend stuff to Brazil. Because the American shit is, like, just so bad and irrelevant. I actually get better results setting this to Brazil than I do America. It's completely insane to me. But you know, we live in an insane economic and social environment, so you know, and it's all courtesy of the fucking tribal first pieces of shit. But you know, it's not sustainable, and eventually, you know, it will come crashing down. So all that matters is we just gotta get ready to, you know, pick up the pieces and rebuild. And then once we're right back in power, you know, we can start like completely banning and regulating and restricting like all this tribal shit, so that they can never hurt us like this ever again. And then it'll be what is it, the 1,000 years of peace, led by Jesus Christ and Christians or something like that. I don't know if the Bible ever said that, but I could have sworn someone mentioned something like that somewhere on America First or something. All right, anyway, I gotta go to the bathroom, so see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, and definitely stay cool because that heat exhaustion stuff is really, really nasty. And thank God, Bitcoin seems to be climbing out of that hole. Let's hope it keeps climbing.